Alright, so I'm going to jump back on the TC Sounds build. When I left off, I had shimmed the coil, glued the spider in place, did the upper and then flipped it over, did the bottom. I've sanded the spacer on the inside, the outside, the top, and the bottom, all the way around, and that's because I'll be gluing it here. So, the bottom needs to be sanded, and then I'll be putting a bead on the inside once it sets up, and then the outside, and then the top of it needed to be sanded, for the other spider to be glued on top. So that's what we're going to do right now. I've cleaned this with alcohol. So what I'm going to do at this point is I'm going to mix up some epoxy real quick here. And then I'm going to put a bead down all the way around to glue the spider in place, the spider adapter. You can use CA glue if you choose to do so, if that's what you have. I'm just using epoxy. I predominantly use epoxy, like I've said, time and time again. So I'm just going to mix it up real quick, so just bear with me. What I'll do is I'll put it on the lip of the spider there, and then I'll use a Q-tip to go around and disperse it evenly. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my paint stick here, and I'm just going to put some around the edge of it here. And probably could just put it on like so. I may not even have to use the Q-tip itself. I usually just use a Q-tip mainly to keep everything, I like to use it with my glue beads anyways, but we can just put it on with this, it's fine as well. What you want it to do is saturate into the spider itself. So, when I use a Q-tip, I normally just will spread it around so it's got a nice and even. But you do, like I said, you do want it to soak into the spider as well. And what I'll do is I'll put a little bit as well on the spider, the ring itself. I'll probably put a little bit on it as well. But you just want to put, get it nice and even distributed. If you see any spots that are light, just put a little bit on there. And then, like I said, I'll stick some on the clamp itself here. As you see, just going around like the clamp, getting some on it. And then what I'll do is I'll set it in place and then clamp it down. Just want to get it, evenly dispersed on there. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is put the spider clamp where I've notched it out already. Just going to get it lined up on both sides here where I want it, and then that way I can clamp it down. Just going to center everything up. Make sure I like my fitment. So that looks to be pretty good. Let's wipe some of this off my gloves here. And what you do is you just want to clamp it down into place. And I'll go ahead and take one glove off here because it's pretty sticky. So what I did was, just checked it all out, made sure it's lined up nice and even all the way around, like where I want it. And then what I do is just clamp it right here on each side first. That way that where I've notched it out is, lined up good. And then I'll just go around it. Now what I'll do is typically I'll let this sit up for about 30 minutes or so, and then I can come back and pull the clamps off, and then I can move on to putting a bead inside of it. Typically what I'll do too is like where I've touched it here and there, once I've pulled the clamps off and I go to put the bead on the inside of it there, I will go ahead and scuff it up one more time just to make sure it's good and flat, like you get a little glue from touching it and this and that. But anyways, that's pretty much it to putting the spider clamp on like this. I made sure it was setting, pretty even all the way around, and that's out here, like I said, when I glue the inside of the spider clamp down to the inside of the spider there, I'll also come back and put some around the outside edge of it as well. That way, it's glued to the spider this way, inside and on the outside. And then probably actually what I'll do is I'll just glue the inside of it, and then once I glue down the top spider with the leads, at that point I'll probably come back and glue a little bit of edge that sticks out on the spider to the clamp and the other spider. Just put a bead all the way around the outside of it. So that's got this particular part done. I'll let it set up and then I'll come back with a follow-up.